We wish our friends, the Chinese community, and together with the rest, a more prosperous years on the understanding that the Barisan Nasional will be defeated. Otherwise, we're not going to be that prosperous. The reasons I've given, the Malays have started questioning the relevance of an economic policy which they consider to be obsolete because it has been exploited by the few family members and cronies to enrich themselves. Now look at the taxi drivers present. You ask them, the permits belong to who? To the rich UMNO leaders. Now if you take and exploit all the rich, all the big projects, and even the small permits, you insist that the cronies must have, other than the APs, then there is no meaning to this whole concept of distributive justice and economic justice. The Chinese in the last few years have been asking this basic question: why is it Malaysia that was known in the past to be very competitive, number 17 in the world competitive index, number 1 in ASEAN in terms of foreign direct investments, number 1 in ASEAN in terms of growth performance. This was at least in the 1990s. Now in ASEAN we have lost a lot of ground to Singapore, and in terms of foreign direct investments to Vietnam, to Thailand, to even Indonesia. Basically it has to do with the issue of governance and accountability. And governance and accountability without freedom, without a free media, without an independent judiciary. Our judiciary not only not independent but blatantly corrupt. Correct? Correct? Correct. I'm sure you can agree. So I think we need to do something. I was criticized severely. I was told in Pasir Salah, a very rural constituency in South Perak. They say, Anwar, the UMNO campaign is that, why is it that you, a Malay leader, choose to criticize Malay leaders in Malaysia and praise Singapore Chinese leaders? You see how UMNO respond to my criticism? I say, look, we started off somewhat at the same threshold with Singapore. But we have to be realistic to acknowledge the fact that in terms of per capita income, Singapore has left us and have registered a per capita income 5 times more than that of Malaysia. It has nothing to do with Chinese in Singapore or Malays in Kuala Lumpur. It has everything to do about governance, accountability and corruption. Now if Malays in Singapore, in Kuala Lumpur happen to be quite corrupt, not quite corrupt, blatantly corrupt, and enriching their family members and cronies, no way can we hope ever to be able to compete with Singapore and our neighbors. We don't have a problem with our neighbors, Singapore, Thailand. But we want to compete in order that we can move up the ladder, so that the gap between us and Singapore is not too huge and glaring. The fault is not the rest, the others. It's our fault. And that is as far as the Chinese sentiments, other than the arrogance displayed by many of the leaders. The moment the Chinese criticize, then you have this brandishing of grace. It happens to be in a very, very poor fashion. I'm involved with this Silat Gayung business. I know how to hold a crease properly, and that minister does not even know how to hold the crease properly. There are certain finesse, like the Chinese art or the Japanese tea ceremony. There's certain tradition, customary practice that you need to understand and fully comprehend. And I can tell you with certainty that particular minister has no understanding about Malay culture and ethics whatsoever. So you can choose to ignore him. Now the Indians, of course, now having this major problem. For the first time in 5 decades after independence, the Indians want to express themselves, and they're expressing themselves in this manner because they are not heard. Indians are very marginalized. position, the housing condition in the estates are deplorable. The crime rate in the country is high, but the crime rate among the Indians is exceptionally high. Unemployment is exceptionally high, and we are not, the government of Barisan Nasional are not addressing this issue. This is why I think we, Malays and Chinese and other Indians, should at least show a lot of sympathy and support. Okay, of course, I agree. I mean, in many of the Malay areas, they ask, "But are you sure the Indians seems to be quite angry, and is it against the Malays?" I said, no. You see, if you find some of the rhetoric a bit too harsh, then we can always engage with them. But their frustration is against the excesses of UMNO, supported by MIC and their friends in MCA, and clearly is the arrogance of power now. Now that is why this new year can qualify Chai in this Sin Nian Bian Po and Sin Nian Hao and Nian Nian Hao. I wish that we move up and have the courage of conviction and the confidence to chart a new Malaysia, free and just for all Malaysians. Terima kasih.